In this video, I'm going to explore with you how to amplify your divine healing power. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and I know there are a lot of people who have been trained in a variety of different modalities who are running into challenges. How do you make a difference? How can you increase the effectiveness of that modality and your innate divine healing expression? And so let's jump in right away. If you are new to the channel here, I invite you to subscribe and of course, click the bell to be notified. And if this video resonates with you, please do give it a thumbs up. And of course, welcome your comments below. Let's jump right in. I want to explore with you what I'm talking about, how you can very simply and powerfully increase that experience of your divine healing power. So if we have two people here, one of these is you. You've got a smile on your face, and you're about to work with someone who, let's say, doesn't have a smile on their face. They're not feeling well. And generally speaking, when we are interacting with someone from a healing standpoint, there are two primary ways that we interact with them, right? And you can substitute the details for the modality that you're trained in around this, and you can fill in those details. But I'm just going to be talking in broad strokes, because what I'm interested in doing is sharing with you how to get into a deeper space with regard to your inner healing power. Okay, so one possibility is to engage with your mind, and let's call that thinking. And when we're in a healing dynamic, what this is really enlivening, the thinking approach, is enlivening that rescue dynamic. That is, I am going to focus on rescuing this person through thoughts. That's the underlying energy when thoughts are the lead focus. And then the second approach has to do with feeling. And this relates to your heart, right? Oops, there's a heart. And in this dynamic, what is being enlivened has to do with control. And both the dynamic of control and the dynamic of rescue are being enlivened on behalf of, when I say within me or within you, it's the separate I. That is the part of each of us that believes we are separate from the other person. I need to have a thought and send something to this other person to help rescue them or save them, or I have a solution. I can control this outcome for them. In both cases, coming from the separate self, right? And then the third way of interacting is at the level of being, but there's absolutely no intention going on. This is the traditional approach. And so what it looks like is an upside down triangle. Whoops. Right? Because the bulk of the energy has to do with thinking and feeling. And very little energy is focused from a being perspective. And the risk here is that the efficacy of what you're engaged in is limited to the thoughts that you are holding in your mind or the feelings that you're holding in your heart. That is, from the place of either interacting from what I refer to as victim consciousness or in controlling consciousness, thinking or feeling. Both of these are a projection to the other person. But there's a different way that we could approach this. And let's flip the page here and open up a different picture. So we've still got you smiling. Oops, those eyes look a little exciting here. Okay, so we've got you smiling here, and this person who you're working with, but there's an opportunity to invert the pyramid. So rather than focusing on lots of energy from thinking, we're not going to do that, or from feeling, we're not going to do that. We're going to focus on the being level. And in the being level, the focus is not on sending anything to the other individual, but on being in the experience of who you really are. And This is not an experience that is predicated on your thoughts or your feelings, actually. Both of these are projections around what you are perceiving is going on with this individual. But whatever is actually going on with this individual, if we just close our eyes for a minute and sink in and reflect on maybe somebody you worked with recently, whatever's going on with them, the absolute solution for them, I want to suggest, is at the level of their interface with the divine. And if what you're interested in is amplifying your divine healing power, that has to happen at the level of being. And in this dynamic, it's not even being sent to them. You are sinking down to this experience, and this is resonating. That is, the truth of who you are is resonating out. And then that is enlivened within them. Your being experience opens up a being experience for them as well. And in this dynamic, there's an extraordinary level of resonance that opens up. Now, that's the quick overview. Let's see if I can dive in a little bit deeper and still do so in the next couple of minutes, because I want to give you powerful resources that can make an immediate difference. So if you look at how can you move into the being center for you, don't even worry about how to do that with someone else. How can you move from a thinking dynamic down into a being dynamic within yourself? And what do you have to do to open up that being expression through you with the other individual? Here's the key. If you are in the process of shifting from primarily a thinking perspective, thoughts, to feelings, to drop into the being perspective is to let go of control. And it's not just to let go of control of the outcome of the healing dynamic. I'm referring to this exclusively within your relationship with yourself. That is to say, to move from a thinking dominated perspective as a healer, or to from a control or feeling perspective as a healer, down into this being expression as a healer. But rather than considering other people in that process, I'm inviting you to focus on the experience of this within yourself. And to take that next step, I just want to invite you to do a couple of things. There are a number of resources that I want to make available to you. One of the resources is a deep dive workshop that is coming up here in the next week or so. And this deep dive workshop will take you into this being experience at a very, very deep level. I also offer a transmission, a group session that offers an introductory experience of that on a weekly basis every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And so the way to receive that would just be to subscribe to the channel here, and then you'll be notified automatically and you can participate in that experience. But if you're serious about moving into that deeper level of being and truly opening up your complete potential in the expression as a healer with those that you're meant to serve and support, I want to encourage you to tip the pyramid upside down and come in to your being center. Drop into your hips, and it's from there that everything else begins to shift and transform. And when you have an experience of that, you can overlay. You may discover actually that the divine expression through you and as you opens up something much more efficacious than the modality or the modalities that you've been utilizing in the past. I would not preclude that from happening. But even if you drop into your being experience for yourself, with yourself, and then bring in the modality or modalities that you traditionally use when you work with others, you're going to discover something completely different opening up. Okay, I'm going to put a link below and information so that if you're interested in more information and you want to explore the deep dive workshop, there's a way for you to go ahead and click through and register. And if you're interested in receiving that introductory session that happens every Wednesday, please do subscribe. So grateful for the chance to connect with you. I'm trying to do something new and make it quick. Grateful that we're connected in this way. Honored to have the chance to connect with you today. Peace.